Hi, good afternoon. It's me, Teacher Xia again. This time, I will be the one who's going to tell you a different story. Okay, this one's for adults. Okay, so I guess you are ready now, and without any further ado, we're going to start our story. I know you guys, without any kind of, like any sort of religions, you celebrate Christmas. It doesn't it doesn't matter. Are you you're Catholic or Muslim? Sometimes Christmas is Christmas. Okay, so our topic for today, our story for today, entitled "A Christmas Tree." Okay, I believe all of you, you may have a, a Christmas tree in your house, in your park, in a mall. I believe it's kind of common whenever Christmas Day is approaching. Christmas tree is truly a good thing. It's one of the best things that you can actually feel. Oh, it's Christmas already. Okay, so for now, we are going to read our story entitled A Christmas Tree. Okay, so I have been looking on this evening at a merry company of children assembled around that pretty German toy, a Christmas tree. The tree was planted in a middle great round table and towered high above their heads. It was brilliantly lighted by a multitude of little tapers, and everywhere sparkled and glittered with bright objects. There were rosy cheeked dolls hiding behind the green leaves, and there were real watches with movable hands, at least, and an endless capacity of being wound up, dangling from innumerable twigs. There were French polished tables, chairs, bedsteads, wardrobes, 8-day clocks, and various other articles of domestic furnitures, wonderfully made, wonderfully made in tin at Wolverhampton. Okay. Perched among the boughs, as if in preparation for some hairy housekeeping, there were Charlie, a broad-faced little man, much more agreeable in appearance than many a real man, and no wonder, for their heads took off, okay, and showed them to be full of sugar plums. There were fiddles in drums, and there were fiddles in drums. There were tambourines, books, work boxes, paint boxes, sweetmeat boxes, peep show boxes, in all kinds of boxes. There were trinkets for the elder girls. Mhm. far brighter than any grown-up gold. Okay, far brighter than any grown-up gold and jewels. There were baskets and pincushions in all devices. There were guns, swords, in banners. There were witches standing in enchanted rings, all baseboard. To tell fortunes, there were octagatons, hamming tops, needle cases, pin wipers, smelling bottles, conversation cards, bouquet holders, a real fruit made artificially dazzling with gold leaf, imitation apples, pears in walnuts, crammed with surprises, in short, as a pretty child. Before me, uh, okay, before me, delightedly whispered to another motley collection of odd objects clustering on the tree like magic fruit, and watching back at the bright legs directed toward it from every side. Some of the diamond eyes admiring it were hardly on a level with the table, and a few were languishing in timid wonder on the bosoms of pretty mothers, aunts, and nurses, made a lively realization of the fancies of childhood, and set me thinking how all the trees that grow and all the things that come into existence on the earth have their wild tournaments at the well remembered time. Hmm? Being now at home again and alone, the only person in the house awake, my thoughts are drawn back by a fascination which I did not, which I didn't care to resist, to my own childhood. I begin to consider what do we all remember based upon the branches of the Christmas tree of our own young Christmas days, by which we climb to real life, straight in the middle of the room, crump in the freedom of its crop by no encircling walls or scenery ceiling. A shadowy tree arises, and looking up in the dreamy brightness, brightness of its top, where I observe in this tree the singular property that it appears to grow downward towards the earth. I look into my youngest Christmas recollections. All ties at first. I find up yonder, among the green holly and red berries, is this humbler with his hand in his pocket. He don't lie down, but whenever he was put upon the floor, persisted in rolling his fat body about until he rolled himself still and brought those lobster's eyes of his to bear upon me. Okay, when I affected to laugh very much, in my heart of heart was extremely doubtful of him. Close beside him is that infernal snuff box, out of which there sprung demoniacal counselor in a black cowl, with an obnoxious head of hair. Mhm. Obnoxious head of hair and a red cloth mouth, wide open, who was not to be injured of any terms, but could not be put away, whether or he is suddenly in a highly magnified state to fly out of a mammoth snapbacks in dreams. Well, he is expected. Okay. Nor is the bride with cobblers who walks on his tail, far off. For the for this for there was no knowing where he wouldn't jump, and when he flew over a candle and came up in one's hand, that spotted black, red on a green ground, he was horrible. The cardboard, a lady in a blue silk skirt who was stood up against the candlestick to dance, and whom I see on the same branch was milder, and was beautiful. But I can say as much for the larger cardboard man. He is to be hung against the wall and pulled by a string. Mhm. There was a sinister expression in that nose of his, and when he get his legs round his neck, which he very often did, he was ghastly, and not a creature to be alone with. When did the truthful mask first look at me, he put it on, and why was I so frightened that the sight of it is an era in my life? It is not a hideous message in itself. It is even meant to be dull, to be droll. When, uh, why then, or it's still stolid, picture is so intolerable? Surely not because it hid the real space. An apron would have done as much. And though I should have preferred even the apron away, it would not have been absolutely insupportable like the mess. Was it the immobility of the mass? The doll's face was immovable, but it was not afraid of her. Perhaps that fix instead changed coming over a real face, infused into my quickened heart some remote suggestions in red of the universal change that is to come on uh, every face, and make it still nothing reconciled me to it. No drummers represented a melancholy chirping on the turning of the handle, no regiment of soldiers with a mute band taking out of the backs, unfitted one by one, often a stiff and lazy little set of lazy tongues. No old woman made wires in brown paper composition, cutting up a fire for two small children could give me a permanent comfort for a long time. Nor was it any satisfaction to be shown the mess and see that it was made of paper, or to have it locked up and be assured that no one wore it. The mere recollection of that fixed face, the mere knowledge of its existence anywhere, was sufficient to awake me in a night all perspiration and horror, with, oh, I know it's coming, oh, the mask. I never wondered that a dear old town gateway of pioneers, that his was made of them. His hide was real to the touch, I recollect, and the great black horse with a round red spots all over him, the horse that I could even get upon. I never wondered what had brought him to this strange condition, or thought that such a horse was not commonly seen at Newmarket. The four horses of no color next to him that went into the wagon of cheeses and could be taken out and stubbled under the piano appeared to have bits of fur tippet for their tails and other bits for their manes, and to stand on pegs instead of legs. But it was not so when they were brought home for a Christmas present. They were all right then, neither was their harness unceremoniously nailed into their chests, as appears to be a case now. Mhm. Okay, so the tinkling of the music card. Okay, what's that? I did not find out to be. What's that? hmm I did find out to be made of pale toothpicks and wire. hmm And I always thought that a little tumbler in his shirt sleeves, perpetually swarming up on one side of a wooden frame and coming down head foremost on the other, rather than a weak-minded person, though good natured. But the Jacob's ladder, that's him, made of little squares of red wood, that the Jac that went plopping and clattering over one another, each developing a different picture, and the whole uh, enlivened by small bells, was a mighty marvel and a great delight. Ah, the doll's house, of which I was not proprietor, but where I visited. I don't admire the houses of parliament half so much as that stone fronted mansion with real glass windows and doorsteps and a real balcony. greener than I ever see now, except at watering places. And even they occurred by a poor imitation. And though it did open all, in even the and though it did open all at once, the entire house front, which was at low, I admit was as it canceling the fiction of a staircase. It was, but to shut it up again, and I could believe, even open, there were three distinct rooms in it: sitting room and a bedroom, elegantly furnished, invisible, a kitchen with uncommonly soft fire irons, a plentiful assortment of diminutive utensils, commonly, uh, oh, the warming pan, and a tin man cook in profile, who was always going to fry chew fish. What very suggests of high done to the novel piece, or in the set of wooden platters figured, uh, each with its own peculiar delicacy, is a ham of turkey, glued tight to it and garnished with something green, which I recollect as moss. Could all the temperance societies of these latter days united give me such a tea drinking as I have had through the means of yonder little set of blue crockery, which are really withhold liquid. It ran out of a small wooden cask. I recollect and tasted of matches, and which I made tea, a nectar. And in the two legs of the ineffectual little sugars, little sugar tongues did stumble over one another in one purchase, like punch hands. What does it matter? If I did once fret out as a poisoned child and strike the fashionable company with consternation by reason of having drank a little teaspoon, okay, inadvertently dissolved into hot tea, was never the worse for it, except by the powder. Upon the next branches of a tree, lower down, hard with green rolling roller and miniature gardening tools, how thick the books began to climb. Tin books in themselves, at first, but many of them, and with deliciously smooth covers bright red or green. What had black letters to begin with? It was in Archer, and shot at a frog. Of course he was. He was in apple pie also. And there he is. He was a good many things in his time. Was he? And so were most of his friends except X. He had so little versatility that I never knew him to get beyond sources or something, like why he was always confined to a yacht or shoe tree, and Z condemned for ever to be a zebra or a zani. But now, the tree is itself changes and becomes a beanstalk. And now, uh, with their collapse, okay, beanstalk. The marvelous beanstalk aptly chopped climbed to the giant's house. And now, those dreadfully interesting double-headed giants with their clubs over their shoulders begins to stride along the post in a perfect throng, dragging knights and ladies home for dinner by the hair of their heads. In Jack, how noble, with his sword of sharpness and his shield of swiftness. Again, those old meditations come upon me as I gaze up at him, and I debate within myself whether there was more than one check, which I am taught to believe possible, or only one genuine original admirable chap who achieved all the recorded exploits. The Kid Christmas time is the ruddy color of the cloak, in which the tree making a purpose of itself for her to trip through with her basket. Little Red Riding Hood who comes to me one Christmas Eve to give me information of the cruelty and the treachery of that dissembling. A wolf who ate her grandmother without making any impression in his appetite, and then ate her after making that ferocious joke about his teeth. She was my first love. I felt that it was that I felt that if I could have married a Little Red Riding Hood, I should have known perfect bliss. But I was not to be, and there was nothing for it but to lick out the wolf in Noah's Ark terror, and put him late in the procession on the table. He is a monster who who was to be degraded. Oh, the wonderful Noah's Ark. It was not found seaworthy when put in a washing tub, and the animals were crammed in at the hook and needed to have their legs well shaken down before they could be cut in. Even there and then, 10 to 1 bet, they began to tumble out mhm, at the door, which was that imperfectly fastened with a wire clutch. But what was that? Again said. Mhm. Okay. Consider the noble fly. Its eyes are too smaller than the elephant. The ladybird, the butterfly, all triumphs so far. Consider the goose. His feet were so small, and his balance was so indifferent that he usually tumbled forward and knocked down all the animal creation. Consider Noah and his family, like idiotic tobacco smokers, and how the leopards start to warm little fingers, and how the tails of the larger animals used gradually to resolve themselves into frayed bits of string. Hush! Again a chorus, and somebody up in a tree. not Robin Hood, not Valentine, not the Yellow Dwarf. I have passed him in all my bunch of wonders without mention. Bet an Eastern king with a glitter, with a glittering scimear and turban. By Allah, two Eastern kings, for I see another looking over his shoulder. Down upon the grass, at the tree's foot, lies the full length of a coal black giant stretched asleep with his head in a lady's lap, and near him is a glass box fastened with four locks of shining steel, in which he keeps the lady prisoner when he is awake. I see the four keys at his cradle now. The lady makes signs of the two kings in the tree. He softly descends. It is sitting in of the bright Arabian nights. Oh, now all common things become uncommon and enchanted to me. All lamps are wonderful, all rings are talismans. Common flower beds are full of treasure. Mhm. Are full of treasure, with a little earth scattered on the top. Trees are for Alibaba to hide in. Beef flakes are to throw down into the valley of diamonds, that the precious stones may stick to them and be carried by the eagles to their nests. Hence, the traders with loud cries who scare them. Tarts are made according to the recipe of the vizier's son of Bizura, who turned a pastry cake after he was set down in his drawers at the gate of Damascus. Calendars are all masterpieces, and in the habit of sewing up people get their four pieces to whom they are taken blindfold. Any iron ring let into stone is the entrance to a cave by which only awaits for the magician and the little fire in the necromancy that will make the earth shake. All the days imported come from the same tree as that unlucky date, with whose shell the merchant knocked out the eye of the genie's invisible son. All olives on the stack of that fresh fruit, concerning which the commander of the faithful overhead the boy conduct the fictitious trial of the fraudulent olive merchant. Okay. All apples are akin to the apple purchase with each others. From the Sultan's gardener of three squints, and which the tall black slave stole from. Okay, stole from. Okay, okay, stole from the child. told from the child, all dogs are associated with the dog, or really a transport man who jumped upon the baker's uh, counter and put his paw on the piece of bad money. All rice recalls the rice, which the old lady, who was a cool, could only peck by glimpse. Because of her nightly peace in the burial place, my very rocking horse, there he is, with his nostrils turned completely inside out, indicating blood sheet up a peg in his neck, by virtue thereof to fly away with me, as a wooden horse with the Prince of Persia. In the sight of his Christmas, in the sight of his father's court. Okay? Yes, in every yes, on every object that I recognize among those upper branches of my Christmas tree, I see this very light. When I wake in a bed at daybreak, on the cold, dark winter mornings, to white snow dimly held outside, through the frost on the window pane, I heard Dinah say, "Sister, sister, if you are yet awake, I pray you finish the history of the young king of the Black Islands." Kihi Razi replies, "If my lord the Sultan will suffer me to live another day, sister, I will not only finish that, but tell you a more wonderful story yet." Then the gracious Sultan goes on, giving no orders for the execution, and we all three breathe again. At this height of my tree, I begin to see, cowering among the leaves, it may be born of turkey, or of pudding, or mince pie, or of those many fancies jumbled with Robinson Crusoe on his desert island, Philip Quarrel among the monkeys, Sunford and Burton with Mr. Barlow, Mother Bunch, and the bus, or maybe the result of indigestion assisted by imagination over doctrine, a prodigious nightmare. It is so exceedingly indistinct that I don't know why is it frightful, but I know it is. I can only make out that is an immense array of shapes, less things, which appear to be planted on a vast exaggeration of lazy tongues. They used to bear the toy soldiers to be slowly coming close to my eyes and receding to an immeasurable distance. When it comes closest, it is worse. In connection with it, I descry remembrances of winter nights incredibly long, for being sent early to bed as a punishment for some small offense, and waking 2 hours with the sensation of having been asleep 2 nights, of the light and helplessness of morning, ever dawning, and the oppression or weight of remorse. And now, I see a wonderful rollable little lights rise smoothly out of the ground. Before, a vast green curtain. Now a bell rings, a magic bell, which still sounds in my ears unlike all other bells. And music plays, amidst a buzz of voices, and a fragrant smell of orange peel and oil. And on the magic bell commands the music to cease, and the great green curtain rolls itself majestic, uh, majestically. And the play begins. The devoted tug of Mortigens avenges the death of his master, foully murdered in the forest of Bondi, and a humorous peasant with a red nose and a very little hat, whom I take from this hour forth to my bosun, is a friend. I think he was a waiter or an hostler at a privileged inn, but many years have passed since he and I have met. Remarks that the Sagisa city have passed since of the dog is indeed surprising. And even more, this Jacqueline Cancy will live in my remembrance fresh and fading, overtopping all possible jokes in, unto the end of time. For now, I learn with bitter uh, tears how hanging down when starving 3 years, or how George Barnwell killed the worst uncle that ever man had, and was afterwards so sorry for it that he ought to have been let off. John Swift compared me, the platinum suspenders phenomenon, when clowns are shot from loaded mortars into the great chandelier, bright constellation that it is, when harlequins are covered all over with scales of pure gold, twist and sparkle like amazing fish, and Pandalin, whom I deem it no irreverence to compare in my own mind to my grandfather, puts red hat pokers in his pocket and cries, "Here's somebody coming!" Protects the clown with pity or larceny by saying, "Now I thought she did," when everything is capable, with the greatest ease of being changed into anything, and nothing is, but thinking makes it so. Now, shall I perceive my first experience of the dear sensation, often to return in afterlife, of being unable next day to get back to the dull, settled world, of wanting to live forever in the bright atmosphere I have quitted, of dotting on the little fairy with a wand like celestial barbers, pole and pinning for fairy immortality along with her. She comes back in many shapes, as my eye wanders down the branches of my Christmas tree and goes as often, and has never yet stayed by me. Out of his delight springs the toy terror. There it is, with his familiar proscenium and latest indicators in the boxes, in all the attendant occupation with paste and glue and gum and watercolors and the getting up of the miller and his men in Elizabeth, or the exile of Siberia. Okay. Okay, in spite of you visiting accidental failures. Okay, so for now, I will end this story because time is not uh, it's about to end. Okay, so it will be all for today, and much tomorrow we're going to continue the next part, the continuation of the story. Okay, so goodbye for now and see you again. This is me, Teacher Shet. Okay, bye bye.